This one needs to be lit. The candles are. Could be this.
Brand is not. It's just the other day I was driving into school and she popped into my head and I was going to send her a message and then I realized I wasn't sure if I would have her.
I'll give it to you before you leave.
Okay.
Anyone from the front does it. I can contact your brother. So this is the winter. And please forget the fancy binding. So basically, each one of these is a newsletter. In the newsletter, each one has.
So I'm just typing this.
You're just typing storage.
Okay. It's already typed. I thought it was handwritten.
No.
So maybe somebody just typed it, never,
Scotiabank typed it.
but didn't say that.
No, never did. It just needs a lot of information. So in each one of these, there's only one story. So basically, you're typing story from that issue, but you don't have to put the announcements over there and that stuff. All that's just actually, each one just has one story that begins. And then you can just put the whatever.
I can just scan it, do that.
It's like each one is like. So that's winter, and then Haitian will do, or Haitian will be fall, which is the same amount of fall. Okay, we're going to do this. Hi. That's the one.
Hi.
Not yet.
We would be some time. I know you're taking beautiful pictures, but feel like it, want to. Perfect. Share directly from the camera, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Take a couple
Yeah,
of
I'll some choose them and then I dump them in that shared folder on the Google Drive that we have.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That would be one. That's fantastic. Yes, it is. Yes. You mean the thing that we're making a noise with? Or what?
I say that thing.
Well, I'm going to use that thing for service.
That says the toy.
The toy?
And that's the
Oh, you mean the zebra right here, sweetie. Zebra. Here. Thank you. I didn't understand. I apologize. There. Yeah.
Read is the role of liberation, the conflict fulfills the end, inspiring them to take on the
Oh, no, yeah, I just wanted to snap a picture of all of you guys.
Great is the role of liberation, the conflict fulfills the end, inspiring them to take on the Buddhist conduct, thereby freeing lost activities. Nam-myoho-renge-kyo.
Oh, should we switch? Did I get your I mean, should I switch with I go first.
Ah
Wholeheartedly, we bow to you. At the Ryuko Dragon Mouth incident, you opened the traces and revealed the origin as the original disciple, superior practice, the great founder, Nichiren, the great Bodhisattva. Now we burn incense in regard to the precepts, meditation, and emancipation. May the light and fragrant cloud of this incense pervade the Dharma world. We offer this incense to the countless Buddhas of the worlds of the 10 directions. May we be able to see and partake of the fragrance of the world of tranquil extinction. Please, thank you. Oh Honor be to the great mandala, the perfect circle of all honorable ones revealed by our founder Nichiren Shonin. Honor be to the eternal Buddhist Shakyamuni, our original teacher, the Lord of the Dharma, our great benefactor who attained enlightenment in the remotest past. Honor be to the Sutra of the Lotus Flower of the wonderful Dharma, the teaching of the quality, the great wisdom, the one vehicle. Honor be to our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shonin, dispatched by our original Buddha. Honor be to Ringe Ajari Nishiji Shonin, the first overseas missionary. Honor be to the protective deities of the Dharma. We honor all of you. May you come to this consecrated place out of your compassion towards us. See us with the light of your wisdom and accept our offering of chanting the sutra and Honor verses relative to the sutra. The most profound and wonderful teaching is presented in this sutra. This sutra is difficult to meet even once in thousands of millions of aeons. Now we have been able to see, hear, receive, and keep this sutra. May we understand the most excellent teaching of the Tathagata. The most excellent teaching of the great vehicle is very difficult for us to understand. We shall be able to approach enlightenment when we see, hear, or touch the sutra. Expounded is the Buddha's wisdom. Expounded is the Buddha's truth. The letters composing the sutra are the Buddha's manifestation. Just as perfume is caught by something put nearby, so shall we be richly benefited by the sutra, even when we are not aware of being so benefited, because infinite merits are accumulated in this sutra. We can expiate our past transgressions, do good deeds, and attain Buddhahood by the merits of this sutra. It does not matter whether we are wise or not, or whether we believe the sutra or slander it. This sutra is the most wonderful and most excellent taught by the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. May we meet and receive it, birth after birth, world after world. 蓮華経、方便本来に、一世尊十三枚安常に、記号者利発生る知恵、人間無常、ご知恵門、安下難入、一切小門、逆視仏小空老地、小医者ら、仏像神言百千万六無臭小仏天上小仏無量道入行小人上小空門上中天天に小空法水義小説理中南下再発道中上空気来中十輪年九十里公園根性無臭法天人道宗教料理小着小義者が将来法天意見原ミス内充足再発将来自然東大人の無料中継空小天上下脱三昧人入無才上十一歳二上右法再発将来の集中分別行政小法根理入難劣化終身再発修道根心無料無変二上右法空室上中死再発空室小理者が空小上中毎日経る難下死後より仏領仏内の空法地総小理小行政総行政小行政大行政力行政差行政人行政変行政下行政法行政本末空教等小理小法行政総行政小行政大行政力行政差行政人行政変行政下行政法行政本末空教等小理小行政総行政小行政大行政力行政差行政変行政変行政下行政法行政本末空教 法蓮華経、五大十両、本来十六、伊賀国分十来、小教小法宗無量百千万六差や早期五千法教研究六十六流入仏道如来無量法義道修行法蓮華安実不滅道教流子説法大道中央し小天中両変動修道水言に部天修天が滅道法不要者利限界変動に小活動新修上期新聞一時的に中南
一心有缘不自不地杀之心有地下之事所之之所之身大地多是多多在其之人是以我人以我天之门是之门是有我不是中不有心有杀大不我一之一生之中有多不门其他你大门是多大天说是中不是在有之爱口之里天心有我手还是否经过信任我乃是之里生活因之里有谁有啊手提口就在有余生只有说是说是说天国心在他手说是他气都安能真人说只安能人说都他是只我说我知他给他是说说知他是说真他是真知说他是比他不曼达拉给三不是知来是大有都是地地是天说天知知说不说若在其之之满在所在之有一两个人大所以头之门三多有手日是之中之瓦西其下所开天下心在心里三波瓦之其其是三是之之有之乃天不下一三是不是南西大西有些多手之有之有之是否之是否手之有否之其下否否其手其否然有心之有之如果有一生后人地地我心我只在地南西无所生我我马呀不离塞不不说不天下一万不能都只在一万是一座天下过你手有心心我是那不过有不大我不多知大有其知有有多知有多随我说大有一切是知我一下有知有头日日有手不有知不息
Sutra of the Lotus Flower of the Wonderful Dharma, Chapter 21, the Supernatural Powers of the Tathagata. The Buddhas, the world saviors, have great supernatural powers. They display their immeasurable supernatural powers in order to cause all living beings to rejoice. The tips of their tongues reach the heaven of common innumerable rays of light are emitted from their bodies for those who are seeking the enlightenment of the Buddhas. The Buddhas do these things rarely to be seen. The sound of coughing of the Buddhas and the sound of
their fingers snapping, reverberate over the world of the 10 quarters and the ground of those world plates in the 6 ways. The Buddhas joyfully display their immeasurable supernatural powers because the Bodhisattvas from underground how to keep this sutra after my extinction. Even if I praise for innumerable kalpas, the keeper of this sutra to whom it is to be transmitted, I cannot praise him highly enough. His merits are as limitless, as infinite, as boundless as the skies of the worlds of the 10 quarters. Anyone who keeps this sutra will be able to see. He also will be able to see many treasures through the Buddhas of my replicas and the Bodhisattvas whom I have taught today. Anyone who keeps this sutra will be able to cause me to rejoice. He also will be able to bring joy to the Buddhas of my replicas and also to many treasures through the who once passed away. He also will be able to see the present, past, and future Buddhas of the worlds of the 10 quarters. Make offerings to them and cause them to rejoice. The Buddhas sat at the place of enlightenment and obtain the hidden core. Anyone who keeps this sutra will be able to obtain the same before long. Anyone who keeps this sutra will be able to expound the meanings of the teachings and the names and words of this sutra. Their eloquence will be as boundless and as unhindered as the wind in the sky. Anyone who understands why the Buddhas expound many sutras and knows the position of this sutra in the series of sutras, and who expounds it after my extinction according to its true meaning will be able to eliminate the darkness of the living beings of the world where he walks about the sets of light of the sun and the moon. Eliminates all darkness. He will be able to cause innumerable bodhisattvas to go finally in the one vehicle. Therefore, the man of wisdom who hears the benefits of these merits and who keeps this sutra after my extinction will be able to attain the enlightenment of the Buddha's definitely and doubtlessly.
Today's soku is entitled Chijo Kengo Dono Gosho Soku. Hatsunokuchi Kitsu. Well. When the incident occurred on the 12th, you came to Tatsunokuchi with me. And not only that, but you intended to commit harakiri, to follow me in death. All I can say is, how wondrous. There may have been times in past lives when I, Nichiren, sacrificed my life for the sake of wife, children, property, retainers. I may have cast myself away in the mountains, in the oceans, in the rivers, on the shores, or on the streets. However, if all those instances of casting away the body, facing persecutions, were not done for the sake of the Lotus Sutra or the Daimoku, then they did not contribute to awakening. If they did not contribute to awakening, then the oceans and rivers where I cast myself away were not put through the land. This time, I faced exile and death. The penalty as the practitioner of the Lotus Sutra. I was exiled to Ito and received the death penalty at Tatsunokuchi. Tatsunokuchi in Soshu is where Nichiren passed away his life. Should not be considered inferior to the Buddha land. This is due to the Lotus Sutra. The sutra says there is only one teaching, that is, the one vehicle in the Buddha worlds of the 10 quarters. That is what I'm talking about. The one vehicle referred to is the Lotus Sutra. There is no other teaching in the Buddha lands of the 10 directions but the Lotus Sutra. That is why the sutra says, except when the Buddhas teach expedient. If so, then where Nichiren faced persecution is the Buddha land. Japan is in the Saha world. Sagami province is in Japan. Katase is in Sagami province. Tatsunokuchi is in Katase. Where Nichiren's life remains should be called the land of tranquil life due to the Lotus Sutra. Please place your hands in Gasho for chanting Bodai.
Nam Nam
Page 66. Kyonanji nyaguzanji shagazoku kanji shobutsu yakumen yozeji gen shobutsu shodan seisoku yumyo seisoku shojin Senyori ai kyoji asha sokuichi Toku no Mitsudo no Orai se Toku Nishi no Deshinbushi Yujun Senji Utsumetsu no Go no Ego Seisho Nen Seiken Shigen Toku se no Shu Sensui Sai Ten Day of this temple, we humbly conduct this ceremony to extol the 747th anniversary of the Tatsuno Kuchi attempt persecution. With this ceremony, we can express only a small portion of our gratitude and appreciation. We most humbly consider that Nichiren Dai Bosatsu, Nichiren Dai Shonin, at the age of 50, on September 12, 1271, was taken to the execution site of Tatsuno Kuchi in Katase, where he was almost beheaded. But the heavenly gods and benevolent deities who protect the practitioners displayed the miracle of the sword will suddenly break asunder. Page 329 of the Lotus Sutra. How can we praise him enough? Hail to the one who faced the Tatsuno Kuchi attempted execution incident, the great leader who spread the Dharma at the risk of his life, our founder Nichiren Dai Shonin, Nichiren Dai Bosatsu. They wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. May the Buddha accept our deep gratitude to him out of his compassion towards us all. Today, we remember those in sickness and distress, members of this temple who have passed away, memoriam as well as ancestors who have passed. Today, we remember those in sickness and distress. We remember Martin Hardaway. We remember Richard and Lynn Bigelow and Marissa and Renee Hardaway. We remember Yasko Spence, Joshin Cushman, Nosho and Fran Parker, Ricky Tabo, Gail Bull, all travelers, Jordan Giuliani, Renee Hardaway, Barbara Hardaway, Marissa Hardaway, Dirk Patton, A.D. Morsch, David Norman, Damian Reddick, Wells, Kim Williams and Bonnie Owers, Shay Frey, Jason Wellman, Ahmed Luba Morsch, Monica Shim, Megan Shim, Ashley Shim, Clarence Shim, John Waldron, Lee McCann, Jesse Schaefer, Lois Mesh, Renee Lewin, Jack Shelley, Gerald Canfield, Raymond Canfield, Julia Schoaf, Dixie Jones, Barbara Hardaway, Michael Pacolina, Dennis Collins. We also remember those in memoriam. We remember Frank Totaro. We remember the Hardaway family. We remember the Kroll and Craney families. We remember the Winter and Sparks family. We remember Robert Magoon and James Compton, Keith and Marty Fay, Connie Karachevsky, Sumiko Suzuki, Dennis Sullivan, Amy and Maria Valentine, Albert and Yolanda Rivas, Gary Paythorne, Bill Dearson, Art Simpson, Gerald Cushman, Jack Parker, Bill Scott, Wayne, Glenda Williams, the Bigelow and Johnson families, Azuko Jordan, Aunt Barbara, Nogetsu, Ronnie Sullivan, the Shof and Tabo families, the Krasnowski and Danuski families, Michael Maffei, Cedarman and Kobayashi families, the Morrissey family, the Jordan family, Shay, Star, Hitchcock, Alley, Uso, Tiger, PT, Scoop, Big Cheese, Stella, Roca, Rex, Beat, Pizza, and Snappy. Douglas Lee, Tutu O'Reilly, the Ice Cream Man, Stephen Nichols, Fructuso and Josephina Bob, because Marsky family, the Knopf family, the Nicole O'Brien, David Spence, Robert Fries, Patty Hartline, Mark Hardaway, and all those who have no one to pray for. May the merits we've accumulated by this offering be distributed among all living beings, and may we and all other living beings attain the awakening of the Buddha, and may the Dharma realm be equally benefited. Amen. Kiku Seigan, 4 great vows. Is there anything else? Kujo nu hen Seigan no.
Sentient beings are innumerable. I vow to save them all.
O no mu shu Seigandan.
Our defilements are inexhaustible. I vow to quench them all.
O mon mu jin Seiganchi.
The Buddha's teachings are immeasurable. I vow to save them all.
Utsudo mujo Seiganjo.
The way of the Buddha is unexcelled. I vow to attain the path sublime.
With this body.
Till I attain Buddhahood, I shall maintain my faith in the Lotus Sutra. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo.
Gansho. Liverborn ones, remember us. Be where you like and come again out of living. Please raise your hand and hold how you feel. Silent meditation. Feel the sublime Dharma and the preciousness of life. Thank you all very much. Celebrating the remembrance of the Tatsumikuchi persecution of Nichiren Shon, James Willis FCPs. So, to kind of set the context of this, Nichiren Shonin felt that every persecution that he suffered was an example of the truth of the Lotus Sutra. And that, as he said in the echo today, how many lives have I given for my family? Countless and innumerable incarnations. How many lives have I given for my country? Have I given for my own selfish needs, wants, goals, aims? And then how many times have I given my life for the Lotus Sutra? And I think for us, what we can take is not necessarily that you need to go out and be a martyr, and give up your life, literally for the Lotus Sutra. In the 21st century, that's a very rare circumstance, but to give your life to the Lotus Sutra every day, which means that we put the ideals of Buddha before our own selfish ideals. That in the end, my purpose is to ask myself constantly the single question: how can I cause all living beings, all sentient beings, to enter into the unsurpassed way, quickly becoming, enter into the way, and quickly become Buddhas. And that for us, in our practice, for someone who hears a syllable, it's enough to change their tone. And we cannot underestimate how karma affects us, how our cause and effect from this lifetime and other lifetimes is affected by our actions, by our thoughts, and these things can be dealt with in a more holistic way through this practice. So one of the things in Buddhism that I think that we neglected times to talk about is the idea of repentance. Repentance for things that we have done in the past, the present, and the future. We don't know how we affect things. You could have cut somebody off in traffic, right? And then for all you know, that started a whole cycle within that person, and then they're distracted, and then they wreck. You don't even know that you had that effect on them. So we have karmic effect that we don't even realize. And so part of that is the understanding that we need to repent for that. And this is not repent in the Christian sense of it, but to take ownership of ourselves and our actions. One of the practices that I've recently adopted daily is at the end of the day I do repentance. And this is actually comes from the Tibetan tradition. It's actually suggested to me by Tiago, one of our people in Brazil. So in the morning, every morning I get up, I pray for anyone and everyone I can think of. If Joshin's name comes in my head, I pray for Joshin, James, Senshin. Everybody in here has been named on a regular basis, if not every single day, in reference to the Sangha. And so every day I pray for all these people. I pray for abundance and prosperity and health and safety. And I pray for my master Kanchan Shonin, his master Kanto Shonin, his master Kansei Shonin, all the Shani of our lineage, all the members. And then I start thinking of who else? Oh, I pray for the kids at school. Oh, I'm going to pray for our mayor. Oh, you know what? I'm going to pray for our leaders. You know what? I'm even going to pray for our president, which is a very controversial thing at the moment. But because there are no Ichantika, then I pray for him too. Right? So I pray for anyone and everyone that comes into my mind. And therefore, at the beginning of my day, I've already established that the purpose of my day is to help be of service and benefit to others. I've already dedicated my energy in the morning to all those beings, so they have a wonderful day, that they reach their highest potential. And then in the evening, before I go to bed, again, I go in front of my altar, which in the end is before the Buddha, which is the one entity that knows me. Because in effect, I'm speaking to the Buddha within myself, the one who knows all of my deepest, darkest secrets, the ones that nobody else knows. And I'm saying to that Buddha, I repent now, today. And I speak it out loud. You know, the act of confession does have a real effect on humans, real effect on consciousness. Even if you just confess to your dog, you know, and your dog doesn't tell on you, you know, you can tell the dog anything you want. They have found that there's a measurable difference to people who confess. And the idea that we speak it out loud, what it is that we are trying to get better at, that we are repenting or renunciating in that sense, is a way to speak to that Buddha within ourselves and to speak to the eternal Buddha and make an affirmation, hey, and an acknowledgement that I'm just not going to willy-nilly do this thing over and over and over again, and then just occasionally get on myself and be like, oh man, I just wish I had done that. I wish I hadn't done it. Whatever it is. But that I consciously take ownership of that thing. I did that. I take ownership. I am not inherently defiled. My next redemptive act is preceded by my next thought. But I can at least acknowledge it and say, take ownership. And in the end, that's what Buddhism is about. It's about being mindful and taking ownership of your own karma, of your own behavior, of your own cause and effect, whether it's an innumerable kalpa of lifetimes that you can't remember, or now, you take ownership. This is what Nichiren Shonin, in that seminal moment, took ownership of where he was at. Accountability for his own karma, to be there. In the process of going there, he actually remonstrated the god Hachiman for his lack of accountability. You know, and on the way to execution, Nichiren Shonin says, "Can we stop right here at the famous shrine?" Just hold on just a second. Aaron's like, "Oh, he's gonna appeal for help." Instead, he's just like, "Hachiman, you're gonna get in trouble. You're not upholding your vow to the Buddha. I may die, and that's fine, but realize you're breaking your vow. You're going to get in trouble. Get it straight. Worried about you." So I thought that was really interesting. Then on the beach, when the comet is seen in the air and the lightning strikes and the executioner gets nervous, teacher looks over his shoulder and says, quick, cut off my head before you get in trouble. So even then, even at the cost of his own life, he was thinking of other people. Like, you know what, you're just doing your job. I want you to be in trouble. I have to do it. I don't mind giving my life for the Lord of Sufi. So, you know, when I think, oh, here's someone that's having difficulty or struggles in front of me, am I going to walk away? Am I going to walk away afraid of story? Or am I going to face the persecution, the anger of someone, the difficult situation, the compassion, the love? Not be afraid of the sword that's being wielded, but think about the human being that's wielding it, first and foremost. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Very much. We're going to have lunch, and yeah. So we've got a great day. Thank you all very much. Thank you for the